Hello, my loves. Welcome to Pain to Joy. My name is Danielle Sutty, and I am overjoyed that you have chosen to spend some time with me today. How's your heart today? Mine is feeling thankful, so thankful. And before we begin, I have one hand on my heart. If you want to place one hand on your heart or one hand on your belly, or somewhere that feels nourishing for you, I'm going to take a deep breath just into the bottom of both sides of my ribs, and a long exhale. Feel free to join. We'll do two more. And one more low into your bottom of your lungs where your ribs are. And a long exhale. I was talking to my niece, and she is always so wonderful and always requesting another episode. And I had mentioned to her that this last week or more, I've been resting, and figuring out how to continue to manage the PAIN post-surgery back in January and shingles in my belly. And rather than talk about any of that, I thought, what's something that I can do? Because I love that Arthur Ashe quote, start where you are, use what you have, do what you can. So I just started reflecting on the past 7 days and positive things that happened. And some of them came from challenging experiences. And I'm going to share just some of the positive things that have happened in the last week, because I could easily share with you all of the not so positive things, the super challenging things, so many things. But to practice what I preach and to really help my brain that is having a struggle, feeling like itself after so many months of pretty intense PAIN, mental health challenges, hormonal challenges, more PAIN challenges, my responsibility is to keep looking for the good, to keep focusing on the good, to keep looking for the beauty. And so even this evening, my neighbor upstairs, I think, might be moving out tomorrow, and it was very loud, and this was not early in the evening, this is later. And I thought, well, I'll just go outside because I'm not going to be able to handle this noise. And what I found on my walk outside was not the full moon that I would have loved to have seen because it was covered by the clouds, but someone recently planted a rose bush in a big pot across the street from my house by some businesses and restaurants. And it was so beautiful. It's just this pink rose. There must have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I don't know how many, 8 to 10 big roses blooming on it. And then I thought, is this real? Because the wind was blowing and the petals weren't falling off. So I went to touch it. And of course, the petals were so soft and lovely, and I felt bad because I knocked one off. And then I smelled this beautiful rose, and it's one of the most beautiful smelling roses I have ever smelled. And so what could be good about so many things in our lives is one thing led to another thing. I wouldn't have gone outside for the walk if my neighbor hadn't been being loud. And then I wouldn't have seen the roses before the rain's about to come and maybe wash all the petals away. So may we continue to look for the good when our brain wants to look at the stuff that doesn't feel good, that doesn't feel like it's working out. Because even though I have had such a challenging time with that in the last few months, I do know and trust and believe that everything is happening for me, everything is happening for you. life is happening for all of us, whether we like what's happening or not. So I guess my goal, intention, and promise is to keep looking for the good and to remember that no matter what season you might be moving through, if it's a challenging season, it will pass. I've had a challenging time believing that as my healing journey these last few months, it just feels relentless. But I did have 1 hour this past week. It was 1:30 on Thursday, which would have been May 27th, maybe? 27th is my lucky number. I had 1 hour where I was able to access some peace of mind. I was able to feel more like an optimistic, positive version of myself that I recognized. And I could not be more thankful. And that is a result of trial and error and trying again with different medications to manage the PAIN. But there was a sweet spot on Thursday afternoon. And one might say an hour, that's it, in nearly 5 months. There have been other times where I felt a lightness, but this was almost like my brain has not been my brain these last few months. And so I am thankful for that 1 hour. I am thankful for so many things. I jotted them down. On Monday morning, I had an intense flare where I wanted to sleep, I wanted to rest, but I couldn't lie down. It was too challenging. It was very intense. And so I put myself together and I went for a walk. It must have been before 7 in the morning. And my neighbor happened to be out there. What a gift. What a joy. And I had walked around the block previous to that, and I saw some cherry blossoms blossoming, so beautiful. The sun was shining through the blossoms because I like to get right under and inside the tree and just stare at the flowers. Oh my goodness. And so then my neighbor was there when I rounded the corner. And then a few minutes after that, this beautiful girl came around the corner with the biggest, beautiful blue eyes and this cute little puppy that she was fostering, so fluffy, so beautiful, so sweet. And it was so joyful. Speaking of neighbors, another neighbor made me dinner one night, which was incredible because it was a night that I would have otherwise just maybe melted some cheese on toast or had cereal. So incredibly thankful. I had ice cream at least 3 times this week, and some of that ice cream was Dairy Queen, so that was pretty exciting. I have received countless supportive, heartwarming messages from friends and from family. And again, when we are in a state of, I'm going to call it low vibration, when we are living in fear or anxiety or just a lot of PAIN, whether that's mental, physical, spiritual, we tend to forget, oh, my aunt sent me a beautiful message the other day. It was so uplifting. Someone else that was from my life years and years and years ago sent me such an uplifting message that I wasn't expecting. I received a postcard in the mail from a friend that just warmed my whole heart. So I want to say thank you to those of you that send positive vibes, those of you that send postcards or send messages or send texts to the people that you love, just because, or to let them know that you love them. I am so thankful for all of the kindnesses and loving messages that I have received just in these last 7 days. And if you're looking to access joy, thankfulness, flip through your text messages, flip through your emails, flip through your Instagram DMs from the last 7 days. And what I truly hope is that someone reached out, someone sent you a reel, someone sent you something that made you laugh. Somebody told you that they loved you with their actions or with their words. Flip through your camera roll. If you're anything like me, maybe you take photos of the beautiful things that you see, of the things that bring you wonder. A sunset, a sunrise. The other evening I looked out the back window, and it's not typical because it's to the southeast that I can see, and the clouds were pink. And I thought, oh my goodness, I'm going to get out there and look at these pink purpley clouds. But I can't go out my patio door, so by the time I got outside and down the hall and outside, and I'm not walking terribly fast, it was gone. The pink sky was gone. And I'm going to be honest, I was pretty bummed for a few moments. And lo and behold, in that moment, my mom sent 2 photos of the incredible pink sunset. She lives with my dad an hour away from where I live in the mountains, Rocky Mountains of Canada. So I got to see the sunset after all. Another joy from this past week. Another thing that I'm so thankful for. I was pretty excited this week. I saw that a friend ran her first marathon in under 4 hours. What a joy. How inspiring. Another friend, actually 2 friends, are in the running in a contest called the People's Artist Contest. One of them is an ice sculptor and a teacher and a chef and an amazing human. The other is an artist and a teacher and a voice actor and an actor and an amazing human. And they both made the top 10 in their categories. That brings me joy. Someone else I know reached out to let me know that someone that they have been interested in for quite some time asked them out on a date. And they're really looking forward to that. How wonderful. And so as I lie here in my bed and share these joyful moments, I genuinely feel love and joy and goodness and happiness rising up in my chest. Like the cells in my body are hearing this good news. And it might not be my good news. And it might not be your good news. But when we can live vicariously through others, be so happy, so excited for others, even in a moment where we are not feeling that excited, maybe about our own life or where we're at or how we might be feeling, it just totally can raise us up. A few months ago, I was on a call with a resident who works with my doctor. And I remember at the end of the call, she said something about being hopeful, or that she was hopeful that this next protocol that we were going to try was going to work. And I'll be honest, I wasn't feeling hopeful. And that might be partially fair because it's 2 months later and I'm still trying different things to be able to wear clothing, to be able to get out of the house, to be able to have energy, to be able to access some version of my brain that feels like me. But I got off the phone and I wrote down, she has hope enough for the both of us. Like the reality is, there are going to be times in our lives where we don't feel hopeful. And those are the times where it is essential that other people be hopeful for us, hopeful on our behalf. And I will be honest, I have not let love in as much as I usually want to. I have not been as connected with people as I would love to be, as there's been this overwhelm on my nervous system. So even happy, good reconnection feels like a lot. I was having these episodes until maybe a few days ago where my nervous system gets really overwhelmed. I feel like I can't breathe. I feel like I'm going to pass out. And so what my physio was saying, any load is load. Any stress, positive, challenging, littlest, teeniest, tiniest thing has been challenging. So this last week, I've been really just focusing on rest. I will tell you, my house is not clean, and that's okay. In another time and space, that would have upset me. And luckily, my self-compassion game, my self-love game, has learned that the most important thing is my health. The most important thing is my well-being. And there were days this week where the idea of having a shower was too tiring and would have been too PAIN inducing. So my house is messier than it's been in a long time, and that's okay. And I just realized when I was talking about the shower, I got to sit outside a couple of times this week in the sunshine. Oh my goodness. In a bikini. To me, any day I can wear a bikini is a glorious day, and it was warm enough to do so. And a neighbor was able to help me with a chair that I was able to sit on for more than 5 minutes, like the benches near my home. And I'm just so thankful. Yesterday, the wind was warm. When the wind is warm, to me, it's just like heaven on earth. And so those are just a few of the positive, wonderful things that I've experienced this week, that I've seen, that I've received. And my invitation would be, what are some of the things that brought you joy this week? What are some of the things that you are thankful for? What is some of the beauty that you experienced? Was it the beauty in a sunset or a sunrise? In fresh blooming, blossoming flowers that smelled amazing? In the giggle of your child or someone you love? Gosh, I don't take laughing for granted. Last year, there was a chunk of time where my mental health was such that I didn't laugh for months. I still acknowledge, I still am so acutely aware when I have a big belly laugh. And so if you need to, flip through your phone. If you decide that this is the week you're going to start jotting down things that you are thankful for. Another friend left a message about just some wonderful things that she is doing in her life to create a life that she doesn't want to escape from. And one of those things was a gratitude practice. And she mentioned an aversion to writing down the things that she's thankful for. And I was like, yeah, you know what I do? I don't always write it down. I will say it in the moment, all throughout the day. Yes, it's amazing to practice in a way that I sometimes do, which is 3 things that I'm thankful for before my feet even hit the floor in the morning, or 3 things before bed. But I also am so thankful when I was outside and it was sunny and it was warm and I was wearing a bathing suit. Oh my goodness, I was like, this is amazing. I genuinely declared it out to anyone who could hear me. When I just found the rose bush an hour ago, I was like, this is so wonderful and it smells incredible. And I was just talking to myself. It's okay to declare out loud the things that we are thankful for in the moment, even if we're just talking to ourselves. Ourselves can hear us. We can hear ourselves. So no matter if you are writing it down, if you're reflecting on it, if you're saying it out loud, all of the different ways to practice gratitude are raising your vibe, are helping you look for, find, and experience more things to be thankful for. I am thankful for you. I am thankful for your listening, because I have said over and over on this podcast that listening is loving. So thank you for listening. Thank you for loving me. May you continue to keep your eyes, heart, mind, soul open to beauty, to wonder, to things that you are thankful for. May you always find and discover more things to be thankful for. I am so thankful for you. Wishing you magic in your day, in your week, in your life. Until we meet again. And I would love to hear some of the things that you are thankful for that bring you joy. If you want to connect on Instagram, it's Danielle.Sutty. Danielle Sutty on Facebook and TikTok. Pain to Joy, Danielle Sutty on YouTube. Please subscribe, follow, leave a comment or a review. That will continue to help the people that are meant to connect with this podcast connect with it, resonate. Thank you for all the support. I truly appreciate it, and you.